Before you take your first sip of coffee tomorrow morning, I need you to stop. If you wake up every day feeling swollen, foggy, or just fundamentally flat, it's incredibly easy to blame your lack of sleep or the meal you had last night. But the real reason you are still inflamed, despite the clean eating, the expensive supplements, and the endless search for a cure, is far more subtle and far more dangerous. It is a system-wide short circuit, somewhere in your internal wiring. The pilot light that is supposed to keep your metabolism steady and your stress response calm has dimmed to a flickering ember. And when that light dims, it leaves your entire system smoldering. This is what we call chronic low-grade inflammation. It's not a fire you can just pour water on. It's a failure of ignition that never quite goes away. Here is the one-line thesis I want you to carry with you today. Chronic inflammation is often a failure of ignition, not just a failure of will. I want you to imagine your body as a hearth. When your internal pilot light burns steady and strong, the fire is efficient. It transforms wood into warmth, nutrients into energy, and thoughts into clarity. But when that pilot light sputters, you can pile all the fuel you want on top. More vitamins, more restrictive diets, more frantic 30-day fixes. And all you will get is smoke. You stay inflamed because the process of transformation itself has been compromised. People who follow this path describe it as a short circuit. Energy that should move cleanly through your metabolism and your nervous system gets stuck. And when energy gets stuck, it creates friction. That friction manifests as physical heat, mental fog, and emotional reactivity. This is why you can eat a perfect diet, sleep 8 hours, and still wake up feeling like you've been run over by a truck. The problem isn't just what you are putting into the hearth, it's that your inner transformer is no longer capable of lighting the fire. I learned about this framing from a set of deep trance readings cited under the name Edgar Cayce, the man who arguably founded the concept of holistic biohacking long before the term existed. These readings identify the thyroid not just as a gland, but as the master pilot light, a transformer that governs ignition for every single cell in your body. They offer a simple, ritualized internal wash, using a highly bioavailable vibratory form of iodine, sometimes called atomic iodine, or atomidine. Now, I am not presenting these readings as a clinical endorsement or a medical guarantee. I am passing on an ancestral alternative approach that thousands of seekers have used empirically to coax their pilot light back toward steadiness. Think of this as an experimental practice that sits at the intersection of ancient ritual, physiology, and energetic hygiene. As we navigate the biological shifts of 2026, these are the tools of sovereignty. Before I go one step further, let me be absolutely clear. If you have a diagnosed thyroid disease like Hashimoto's or Graves', if you have autoimmune conditions, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or are taking thyroid or other endocrine medications, you must consult your healthcare provider before trying any iodine protocol. Do not stop, alter, or reduce your prescribed medications without medical supervision. The atomic iodine described in these readings is an alternative, experimental preparation. Safety is the first law of sovereignty, always. Now, why does this specific glandular spark matter so much for inflammation? Your thyroid sits at the ultimate crossroads of your metabolism, your nervous system tone, and your hormonal balance. When that transformer is dim, your metabolic speed drops. When your speed drops, the clearance of cellular waste, the biological ash, slows down. Your system becomes stagnant, and a stagnant system is a breeding ground for inflammation. In the language of the Cayce readings, the thyroid is the pilot light. In modern physiological terms, it is the support for metabolic momentum. Either way, when it falters, you create a perfect environment for chronic low-grade inflammation to maintain its hold on your life. But there is another corridor to consider, the link between the thyroid and the pineal gland. This is the bridge to your inner eye, or what we call your vibrational field. The Cayce material links these two glands as allies in clearing mental fog and stabilizing your emotional tone. This is the bridge we often talk about here. When you consistently support that corridor, your mental clarity improves and your emotional reactivity softens. And here is the secret. Less reactivity in your nervous system equals less inflammatory signaling in your tissues over time. That is the connection. Better ignition leads to less chronic smolder. If this idea of internal ignition resonates with the heaviness you've been carrying, type the word ignited in the comments right now. This isn't just a comment. It's a marker of your intent to stop piling wood on a cold fire and start tending the pilot light instead. Here is the practical core you came for. The 2-minute morning ritual. It is tactile, it is short, and it is designed to be executed before the noise of the day reaches you. Step 1. Prepare half a glass of room temperature water. Use glass or ceramic. Avoid plastic and metal if you can, as the readings emphasize the purity of the container. Step 2. Add 1 single drop, exactly 1, of the atomic iodine preparation. Swirl it gently. Do not mix in anything else. This is a moment of singular focus. Now the rhythm. Bring the glass to your lips. The rhythm matters far more than the volume of what you are drinking. Take a tiny sip. Swallow. Breathe slowly through your nose. Tiny sip. Breathe. Continue these small, steady pulses for exactly 2 minutes. Keep your jaw relaxed. Keep your breath even. Do not rush this. You are not drinking water, you are coaxing a biological spark. The cadence is sip, breathe, sip, breathe. This pace models what you are doing internally, reintroducing a bioavailable mineral in tiny rhythmic increments, so your system can register and respond without being overwhelmed. The total ritual should be close to 120 seconds. If you lose the rhythm, simply reset. The intention here is consistency over intensity. The schedule recommended in the source readings is 5 days on, followed by 2 days off. This 5-2 pattern is vital. It protects your system against overstimulation and gives your body a weekend to integrate the new signal. Think of this as a training program for your pilot light. Regular, modest, and sovereign. Again, I want to emphasize the boundaries. If you are on levothyroxine, T3, or any endocrine medication, speak with your clinician. If you have an autoimmune diagnosis, do not self-prescribe. The name atomic iodine is the terminology from the readings. It is an experimental preparation. I am sharing the lineage of its use, not issuing medical advice. Use your wisdom. If you choose to try this ritual for 1 week, do not expect a dramatic overnight miracle. Instead, look for the subtle ignition markers. Track 3 domains: your body, your mind, and your tone. For the body, notice your throat. Does it feel lighter? Is your morning swallow easier? For the mind, is the fog lifting by 10 Gauss AM? Can you focus in blocks without that static in the back of your head? For the tone, are your emotional spikes reduced? Do you feel steadier when a stressful email hits your inbox at 2 p.m.? Write these down. At the end of each day, make a brief note. People who practice this consistently report 3 major shifts. First, a sense of metabolic warmth, not a jittery rush like caffeine, but a steady inner heat. Second, a lifting of the mental veil. And third, an increased sense of resilience, a feeling that the noise of the environment isn't as loud as it used to be. Each of these shifts reduces the drivers that keep inflammation active in your body. A practical note on sourcing. Because we are talking about highly specific preparations, ensure you are using a reputable source for atomic iodine or atomidine. Store the bottle out of direct sunlight. Treat it with respect. It is a catalyst, not a supplement. This ritual is as much psychological as it is physiological. By performing a short sovereign practice before the day's chaos begins, you change how you show up. The small act of tending your pilot light sends a daily message to your nervous system. I am reclaiming my biology. I am no longer at the mercy of the smoke. That posture of sovereignty alone reduces stress signaling, and lower stress is the most reliable way to lower baseline inflammation. Do this wrong, and you are just piling more wood on a cold fire. Do it right, and you coax a spark that can change your entire reality. The difference is the rhythm, the restraint, and the consistency. If you are ready to start tomorrow morning, type ignited below. Join the community of people who are tired of smoldering and ready to burn clean. After 7 days, come back to this video. Tell us whether your throat felt lighter, whether the fog cleared, and whether your emotional rhythm steadied. Your notes are the data that help the rest of us understand what is happening on the ground in this year of transition. The real reason you are still inflamed isn't a single missing vitamin or a bad food. It is a dimmed ignition. Choose to tend it, with caution, with consistency, and with respect. I will see you in the next code, where we will dive into the karmic imprint hidden in your birthmarks. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the moment we decode the map of your past lives. Let's relight the hearth together. I'll see you in 7 days.